I would like to welcome Kyle Siebels to the Simply Sell podcast. Kyle has this knack of being able to develop relationships, and I want to know more importantly, but I really want the audience to know too what that is. Kyle is an account executive with steel manufacturing out of Kansas City, Missouri. Kyle, welcome to the podcast. How you doing, man?
Good. Thanks for having me, Brian.
Glad to have you on here. So, tell me a little bit about yourself. You're from Minden, Iowa. I did not even know where Minden was until I got to know you and your father. So I know the population is 591 people. That is all I know. So tell me a little bit about yourself in Minden, Iowa.
Well, my father grew up here. I grew up here. And I'm very fortunate to say I'm from here, as I think we have a very tight community. Everyone is always willing to help somebody. And that aspect of Minden really makes me stick around. It's hard to leave. Even after the April tornado in 2024, everyone was willing to lend a hand. Everyone knows everyone, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Um, I don't know how you look at that, but it's a great community to live in.
Awesome. So what did you and your dad do? I knew you guys were really involved in the community and you really stepped up during the tornado. What did you guys do to help the other people?
So the first thing we did was actually go grab a bunch of plywood and started putting on windows in the neighborhood because some people lost their houses completely and some of them were kind of like, you know, halfway lost. And a rain was coming in, so we just, started to put plywood on every window so we could kind of save some of their belongings. So, and then clean up for about a month. So,
Wow.
and it clean up for months and months after that. So it's getting better now.
Well, I wouldn't expect anything less from you guys. You and your dad both have, are high character guys, so I wouldn't expect anything less. So switching gears, you just celebrated a birthday this week. Tell me in the audience, how old are you?
25.
25 years
I
old.
look even younger when I have a fresh shave.
25. That's incredible to know that because it feels like you've been in the business for a long time. So, how long have you been in the steel business?
About 5 years. I started when I was 20.
You started when you were 20, and what really got you into the business?
It was kind of by accident. During COVID, it was very hectic at the office. In my previous life, I just went in just to see what it was going to be like. I've always looked up to my father of him being in the steel industry, and I was actually mowing lawns while going to college, and I only planned on being there for 2 months. And then I was going to go on and do my 4 year somewhere else, but then I was like, I fell in love with it. Just basically did my 4 year online after getting my associate's degree at Iowa Western. So actually started in by scanning in heat certs into the system, learning the different products and grades. So I fell in love with it. I was like, I want to know more about this and what it goes into, where it comes from, what the end use is. I guess I never left.
So let me get this straight. You were working at the steel company you were working for, and you were going to school online. So you were doing both at the same time.
Both at the same time.
And then, so it's an interesting thing. One of the things I think is most unusual about you, especially at your age at 25, and I mean that in the nicest way, is you're a young guy, but you've been exposed to so much in your career, which I think is extremely unusual. So one of the things that is interesting about you is you've been on both sides of the desk. You've been on the purchasing side, but you've also been on the sales side. Were you in this job at your previous company, were you doing purchasing and sales at the same time?
I was still doing both. I would still send quotes to customers. I would still enter their orders. And on top of that, I was still ordering from the mill.
Oh
So,
my gosh. So ordering from the mill, that's at 25 years old and dealing with customers and dealing, on the purchasing side more than just
and
buying
still
steel
going,
from the mill. You were doing
and
everything
still going to school.
and going to school. Oh my gosh. When did you sleep?
Never. Well, I did. I just managed my time well.
Oh, good, good. Now, so one of the things that I'm kind of jealous of you about. But also, I admire is you have some relationships with some high level contacts at the mills, which I think is inspiring to young people in the industry. So, tell me a little bit about that. Like you have relationships with people that are high up, like at the mills. So what is the I guess what would be the highest relationship that you have with one of the mills? You don't need to name the person, maybe name the title, but if you want to name the person, that's fine. I mean, we're just chatting here on a podcast. But I mean, you're 25 years old and you're sitting at a table with some high level mill executives.
I wouldn't single out just one person. I mean, there's multiple people that I look up to in a personal and professional standpoint. I truly believe the steel industry has one of the best group of people to be around, whether it's, salespeople, people in the shop, plant managers, or, tech reps at the mill. They've helped me develop confidence, and I can always, they always have an open door. I can call them anytime. And I think this really helps pave the way for the next generation that can lead with integrity and have a positive impact on our industry. And I think other industries lack that. So I wouldn't say there's one person that I look up to. I think it's a big group of people. I mean, I remember when I was 7 years old, I flew out to Pittsburgh with my father. And I met some group of gentlemen from NLMK. Larry Rambowski, that has now since passed away. He was a great guy that I could go to for advice. And Bob Miller, I still run into him. I mean, he's a busy guy, but he always gives me, the time of day to talk to me. So,
wow. Okay. So going back to the both sides of the desk thing. So this podcast really is about relationship management and how you manage relationships. So going back to, like I said, the both sides of the desk thing, where did you start? Did you start in sales first, or did you start in purchasing first?
I started at the inside sales desk first.
Okay, interesting. And then what is the one thing that you learned from sales that you could apply to purchasing?
Addressing like clients' needs and concerns in a prompt manner. Ensured, like, I don't know how to explain it. I kind of held that as a priority, always knowing what the customer wants first, because it helped me in my buying process. I always had that, itch in me, that when I go to buy, it's for the customer. Because at the end of the day, the customer was my number one priority. I would conduct reviews on the purchasing process to make sure the end user is satisfied.
Interesting. So basically, if I were to summarize, you were selling steel as if you were the one buying it. So in other words,
Yes.
you were treating it as if you were the one buying it. So basically, you're learning about purchasing while you're doing sales, and you were then able to apply that to purchasing. Interesting. That's really good. Now let's reverse it. I kind of talked a little bit there. What is the one thing that you learned from purchasing that you could apply to sales?
Just being aware of the current market conditions. To this day, I'm still in tune of what's going on in the market. If you take your foot off the gas and not know what's going on in the market, you're basically blind. So it helped me make informed purchasing decisions while I was doing purchasing. But then now when I, watch the market and sales, it helps me make good sales decisions. So
Interesting. So let me ask you this though, switching gears. So what is that? What do you guys have? I mean, when I go to like conferences and I see you and your father at events, you guys have this way of managing relationships where people just really count on you. So what's the secret sauce there? Because I would really like to know from a relationship standpoint, how do you manage these relationships? You got relationships all ages, all groups of people, whether they're Gen Zs, Gen Xs, or even baby boomers. You have an ability to communicate on social media, on phone, text, email, whatever it is. You have a way of doing that, and you do it in such a respectful way. What is the one secret that you guys have that others may not have when it comes to managing relationships?
I think at the end of the day, treat people like you want to be treated and listen more than you talk. Um, you know, a lot of people, when you see them at the conferences, they do want to talk about business, but at the same time, ask them about their personal life. Because then, open a door, how you can relate on something. And that's how I leverage relationships.
Now, you were just nominated for the Next Gen Award for SMU. And so obviously you're hoping to get nominated next year. What what do you think you're going to do this year in the next 12 months to generate some good attention, awareness to what you're doing every day? Because I think you're doing a phenomenal job. If it were up to me, unfortunately, unfortunately it isn't. But if up to me, I would want you to have that award. But tell me what you think you probably need to work on to get that award. I know you want that award, a lot. So what would be the one thing that you think you need to work on to get yourself in that position to win that award?
I just think I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong. I just feel like, I probably haven't been in the business very long. I just need to keep doing what I'm doing, wake up every day and keep pedaling. Um, that's about it. I'm not going to change what I do. I think I'm doing a good job. So,
Good answer. So last question. What's your career goal? What is I hate to ask the question where you're going to be in the next 5 years, but where do you ultimately want to end up? I mean, you've got such a really good base of steel knowledge and understanding purchasing and sales. I mean, and operations too, for that matter, which we didn't even talk about. But where do you want to go? I mean, do you want to be a CEO of a company? Do you want to stay in sales? Do you want to be a VP of sales? What is your ultimate career goal?
I feel like every time I say I want to do something, I kind of get tugged in all different directions. Like I'm outside sales now, but I feel like I still am kind of, in tune with the purchasing process or the operations process. So I guess a role where I can take all my skills and put it into one. I don't know what that could be. I'm young. I don't know where I see myself in 5, 10 years, but right now I'm pretty happy. So I don't know. I guess the future will speak for itself.
Well, Kyle, you definitely have a bright future, and I really, really appreciate you being on the podcast, the Simply Sell podcast. I hope that the guests that watch this got as much out of it as I did. This was an incredible experience for me. I really enjoyed having you on here, and we look forward to having you on again. And you are definitely an inspiration to everybody in the industry, not just young people, but even guys like me who've been in the steel business for over 30 years. I'm inspired by your character and what you bring to the table. So thanks so much for being on, Kyle.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
No problem.